Welcome back to another video, guys. It is 5:56 in the morning. Today we're starting off with another road trip and a little bit of adventure. For those of you that pay attention to the channel, I posted something in the community. So if you guys are on top of that and aware of that, you might already know what we're picking up, or maybe you might know the two different options that we're choosing from. I think I finally decided, not really, I want the other one more, but I guess we're settling for the other option. But we got an 11-hour drive ahead of us. We should be in a certain state and basically about 12 hours. Got to factor in gas and stops. I appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving on the previous video. That video did extremely well and it was just like a random junkyard video. So I just want to let you guys know I appreciate it, and welcome to everybody new. So let's get on the road. I'll keep you guys updated, of course. We're currently like 50 minutes away from Denver. We're somewhere in Colorado. 6:30 going on 7 once we actually get there. So hopefully we don't get too dark out before it's too soon. Hopefully I can show you guys the car tonight, and I'd like to look at it myself in the daylight. So I guess we're gonna see what happens. We're almost there. This road's pretty bad. Basically 10 hours done, the last little stretch, and we are there in Denver. I have quite the bit to update you about. I am unfortunately in my newest vehicle, which is very unfortunate. The longer I have it, the more unfortunate I realize me owning this car is. But we got like 5.5 hours more. I'm just trying to get through, and then once we get to Vegas, I'll let you guys know, and I'll let you guys in on the full scoop, the full story, all the details. We are officially back home with the car. I don't even know where to begin and what to touch on first. It is a 2003 E46 M3 6-speed manual, Alpine white with cinnamon interior. Clean title, has some aftermarket upgrades as you can clearly see, has some things that I am not a fan of at all. It does need a little bit of work. It is not a perfect car by any means. It needs some things replaced ASAP for me to actually officially like this car and enjoy it. But we're back home, so that means this car did make the 11-hour drive home. Only one little incident where basically I was doing a U-turn to pull into my parking spot and the car died. It started right back up, so I don't know what that is about. It seems to be at idle. The car seems to have a little bit of resistance with the power steering. Maybe the pump is going bad, maybe it's low on fluid. Really haven't looked into it, so that'll be one of the things that we kind of have to look into and address. But other than that, the car overall is in very decent condition. One thing that's bothering me is that this fender right here, you can tell, is the slightest bit brighter than the rest of the car. So I'm assuming whoever painted the bumper and the hood also painted this fender. That's what I'm gonna assume. It matches decently with everything else, but you can see on this side, there's really no difference in color. So I believe only that one fender, for whatever reason, maybe had a dent or a ding, maybe it needed to be replaced, and they painted it all at the same time. That's what I'm gonna go with. That's what I'm gonna assume, and it bothers me. It sticks out like a sore thumb. It's kind of blind to your eye, but then you see it on camera much more. It's one of those. It is a white car, so it's kind of hard and tricky to see, but it is something that's there. Let's go over some of the aftermarket parts. Let's get that out of the way. It's sticking out like another sore thumb. I got 2 sore thumbs with this car. This hood is absolutely hideous to me. I'm happy that it's at least painted Alpine white and it's not full carbon, but you can see the carbon that is exposed and was left exposed. They might, I don't know what happened or how old this hood exactly is. The previous owner said he had it for about 9 years, so I'm assuming this hood is 10 years old. I believe he said it came with the car. I'm not sure exactly at what point it was painted Alpine white. I'm assuming as well as the previous owner, so that would kind of explain why that carbon is cracking and kind of sun faded. The bumper is a replica, which is absolutely hideous and does not fit at all. You can see there's a huge gash right there. I believe, I think I mentioned in the video previously, I'm assuming this is an M3 style front bumper and not an actual M3 front bumper. I believe that's why it doesn't fit fully. Same thing, these headlights, I honestly can't tell. They say Bosch on the lens. I can't tell if these are aftermarket or they are stock with just aftermarket corner lights. Kind of hard to tell. I'm not fully updated on my E46 M3 game anymore. I've been basically just M5 for all these years with a hint of E46 M3. Same thing with this grille. This is absolutely hideous. I cannot stand this M striping, and obviously this grille is very cheap. So that needs to get replaced. I basically want to do a full OEM front end. So with that being said, if any of you are out there and you happen to have an Alpine white E46 M3 and you want to trade for a Vorsteiner GTR carbon fiber hood, I've seen these resell for like almost 2 grand. If you want to trade me a stock hood and a little bit of cash on top, let me know. I want to get rid of this ASAP. Also, I'm gonna need an OEM front bumper. So if anybody has an Alpine white parts car, please let me know. I want your hood, I want your bumper, I want your headlights, probably want your fender, and as well as this. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I know everybody else really likes these or upgrades to these, but it's just not my thing. I don't like the CSL style trunk. Again, it is a full carbon trunk, I believe, and they exposed this part of the carbon and painted the rest of the car Alpine white. That's not my style. I don't like this. If you have an Alpine white M3 trunk for sale, let me know. If you have one and you want to trade with a little bit of cash on top, let me know as well. I've seen these, I think, are new at like $1 grand. So resell, I'm assuming, would be, you know, 3/4 of the price. And I've seen stock trunks for like $100, $200. So if you want to add a little bit of cash, let me know. On a plus note, it's on brand new Apex Arc 8s with Michelin Pilot Sports. On a downside, it's weak specs with spacers. I don't know why someone would buy 8.5-inch fronts for an E46 M3 and 9.5 rears. I know people run like 10-inch or 11-inch setups on these cars squared. So there's no profile to this face. It is completely flat, but at least the rears are somewhat concave, probably profile 2 or 3 on Apex standard, but the rear is good. Front is pretty hideous. I've been wanting these wheels for the M5 for the longest, and these are very weak specs, so these might go on the E39 M5, and we might get replacements for this car because it desperately needs an aggressive wheel setup, at least for the face and the concave. But another thing, I don't know if this car's on lowering springs, and I don't know if it's on coilovers. We're gonna find out probably right now. It looks stock. That's unfortunate because we have this much of a gap. So this car will need coilovers, definitely. The rake is terrible. The front looks fine. The rear looks like it's in a lift. Coming into the rear, This diffuser has seen so many better days. It's cracked, sun faded, and definitely needs to be replaced. There's a little scratch mark right here. Looks like it got barely rubbed up on something, maybe like a shopping cart or something like that hit it. Same thing with this vent. These need to be replaced, but those are all minor cosmetics that really don't do anything for the car. This trunk, I'm not a fan of this at all with this exposed carbon. It looks very cheap and tacky. Same thing with that black M3 badge. I would love this car with an OEM trunk and a nice silver badge. It would complete the look. This car is beautiful, stock form, and that's what I want to go back to. It's on drilled rotors all around with red calipers, and I believe that's about it for exterior wise. It's got some things that need to be addressed ASAP and some things that need to be changed. Let's go ahead and jump into the interior, which was another selling point of this car. This car is cinnamon interior, and for once there's no extreme wear on the driver's seat. There's no rips. The passenger seat is the same. Only thing you can see right here is a little bit of marking on the bolster, which I believe will clean up just fine. Same thing with these door panels. They look completely fine, except for I guess this, which is kind of to be assumed with, I think this is cheaper carbon, not the actual good carbon that goes for like $1,000 for the trim set. I'm assuming this is some cheap replica carbon, and I mean, it doesn't look bad at all. It looks kind of like a factory weave, so I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Let me know if there's a telltale way, but these holes are just not good at all. I could probably put some glue or something in there to keep it sturdy, but it has the full trim package all the way around, all the trims. The center plate does not fit the greatest, and this carbon handle feels very cheap. That shift knob is terrible, and this is terrible as well. So some minor adjustments will be needed, but the foundation of this car, Alpine white on cinnamon interior, it really doesn't get much better than that unless you want to get Imola red and some M texture interior. I can't really picture anything else better than Alpine white and cinnamon, and I think a lot of people would agree, and especially this is a very, very, very sought after color, and this combo is amazing. Rear seats look absolutely perfect, except for those ricey M seatbelt covers. Those are terrible. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that should be black. Should that be cinnamon, or should it be something else? I don't think it's supposed to be like that. These M pedals are very tacky and ugly. Those will definitely need to be swapped out. Same thing. These are, I believe these are replica M3 carpets. I don't think these are OEM at all. This trim looks to have painted. This needs to be swapped out. There's just a lot of random little things with this car. It definitely needs some touch up and some work. But again, the base and the roots of this car, cinnamon interior and extremely well conditioned. Alpine white, which needs some minor touches and some minor adjustment, but it's kind of guaranteed that at some point your 20-something-year-old car is going to have some type of paint work or some type of body replacement and need to be painted. It's very unfortunate. It sucks when people don't do it right, but at least my passenger side is pretty good. Coming over here on the interior, there's really no noticeable remarks. Only thing is, again, is this little thing right here. I guess we could try to fix that and adjust that. I hate when people do this. So I assume if this is just a badge or if this is drilled in, I'm gonna go ahead and assume this is fake carbon trim, not the good one. But again, you guys let me know down below. This seat is in fantastic condition. We have some cracking right here, so this probably wasn't kept up the best. We'll probably need to do a full recondition of these seats and maybe possibly patch this up or fill this. I'm not too sure. Let me know if you guys had experience with this, and let me know how it came out for you. Headliner looks pretty normal. There's a couple little wavy things, but this interior does just come with the cloth, not Alcantara or anything. This will need to be re-glued or replaced. And Of course, that little dome right here was thrown in the backseat of the car, but it is there. And that's about it for the interior. I don't think I'm missing anything, except for it has aftermarket sound system with that little single DIN radio, and the trunk, it has subwoofer and a bunch of random speaker equipment. Wasn't done the best, doesn't sound the best for a whole aftermarket sound system. Definitely is a letdown. But let's go ahead and jump into the engine bay and more of the mechanical aspect of the car. Now that we have the hood up, I think it only goes down from here. You can clearly see we have the Vorsteiner carbon hood that looks to be fully painted over from inside and the out. Here is the little vent covers. This has a little mesh right here that's coming out. As far as the engine goes, I mean, very typical. Has 176,000 miles now. That is disgusting. And this also is very ratty, but this isn't OEM, I don't believe. Did not come in a fake carbon or checkered weave. So that is some type of other intake I'm assuming they had. Engine, basically what you get on a higher mileage M3. This reservoir looks to have seen better days. Don't know what this is all about. Of course, this car has the ratty halos that a lot of people run that don't really work well. This wiring over here has definitely seen better days. This intake is gross. I don't know who chewed on the MAF wiring harness. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know why someone put this stupid little badge all over the car. And something that very confused me is this. What the hell is going on with this badge? This is not OEM. There's no way it came with this little M color flag. Please, someone let me know if that's an overlay, complete overlay, if that's just an M color sticker, or what is going on with this. Please let me know. This car supposedly and has some of the proof that Vanos was addressed and repaired. The subframe was fully gone through, reinforced, bushings replaced, completely gone through, all on record and receipts. I asked 15 times if he had proof of rod bearings and a record and receipt, and he said yes every single time. And when I get there, guess what? There is no record or proof of rod bearings done, and he said, oh, the previous owner did them, and that's that. So there's a lot of little things like this shouldn't be here, should be clipped up here. This apparently has had quite a bit of maintenance. I have a record full of it. This car was maintained at a Beamer dealership very recently, and they couldn't find anything wrong with it. I have the video and the basically health checkup of this from that dealership. You know how that goes. I'm not really sure. You know, that's comforting, but it's not at the same time, because who knows what they were actually looking for in that video and what they were saying was good and didn't need to be addressed. This car definitely has had its share of aftermarket and maintenance, seeing that it did make the 11-hour drive home. It is quite clunky. That is the one thing, quite clunky. Putting it in first, there's a clunk. Apparently this car has fully addressed subframe, fully addressed drive shaft, guibos, bushings. Transmission was said to be serviced, but that really doesn't line up with why there's clunking. It could be the diff, could be the diff itself, or it could be the diff bushings and some other things. Looking into this valve cover, it is quite bronze, and when I first looked into it, quite a bit of sludge and buildup. It's kind of typical with a higher mileage M car, depending on the conditions and, you know, how basically the car was cared for. Not really the biggest of the concerns. Car definitely has had maintenance and will definitely need more maintenance and will continue to need maintenance. It's all very typical things that you can't really nitpick on the car. It'll definitely need some suspension and some bushings up front. It's very typical that people don't replace these and they get worn out very fast. It's pretty clunky. It has its fair share of things that are kind of weird, kind of some quirks, but it's very typical stuff. It's just kind of unfortunate. There's a lot of tedious things and a lot of things that do add up in price. There's not really much else going on here. One thing I did forget to mention, this car is catless with some type of exhaust and dyno tuned. This car did come from Colorado, so I believe it was tuned to the altitude and tuned to Colorado conditions. So I'm not too sure how that's going to hold up here in a different climate, different sea level, and different heat conditions. The car seems to be running fine. It pulls so much better now that it's back here in Vegas and not at higher altitude. Feels like a completely different car. But again, I'm not sure what's going to need to be adjusted and how that's going to hold up over time. Let me know down below, guys, if you guys think this car will need to be retuned or at least reset the adaptations and let this car adjust to the conditions here. With all that being said, this car, I believe, was a fantastic deal, except for there's some iffy things that should or could be on the Carfax that I really wasn't aware of. He apparently said that this car, he told me before I got there that this car had an insurance claim on the Carfax. So, okay, cool. It's still clean title. I'm assuming an insurance claim means there was some type of incident, there's some type of fender bender or some type of light damage that needed to be replaced and they went through insurance. That's what an insurance claim is. When I got there, he told me, oh, this car had an insurance claim. Someone tried to report it stolen and they retrieved the car, blah, blah, blah. Not sure. I verified this car is clean title. I haven't even looked at the Carfax. I honestly am scared to. But if they really reported this car stolen or whatever the case is, it would go rebuilt title no matter what the situation would be. I would assume if this car gets reported stolen at all, even if they retrieve it, it's still a rebuilt title at the end of the day, or it'll go through the process of salvage title and become rebuilt after it is sold through whatever auction or insurance. That's how it works. That's how it goes. You don't get your car stolen and retrieved and they give it back to you and say, here you go. It's not how it works. It does work. Okay, it can work like that, and it has in the past, but usually it should go through insurance and go through an auction if they get paid out, blah, 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 or the owner buys it back. Whatever the case is, it's sketchy. It doesn't really seem to add up, and it definitely isn't a good look for the car. But I guess whatever, it's here. I have it. It has a clean title. I have it on hand. I'm gonna do a little more investigation and some research. The negotiation process for this car almost ended in a fist fight and a manic episode from somebody else. That's a lot. It's a long story. There's a lot of stuff that went on. I literally drove all the way over there, ended up walking away from the car. The guy was basically begging me to buy it. I walked away like 4 times and he got mad. He was begging me to buy it. I kept walking away. He would get hella mad, say something, talk shit to me. He told me that all my cars were gonna blow up as soon as I left. He said that I was forcing him and doing all this other thing. So I told him, I was like, okay. I was like, no worries. I was like, if it's that big of a deal for you, I was like, go ahead, keep the car. You should keep it, sell it to somebody else. He literally was saying, oh, you need this car, you need it, blah, blah, blah. You can't walk away. This is your car. This is for you. You need it so bad. You have to buy it. You have to buy it, buy it, buy it. You have to buy it. A million red flags, a million reasons to walk away. And I did. I literally walked away and left, and he was getting mad, throwing a fit, all this other stuff. And then I ended up texting him when I was at my hotel, and I was like, okay, look, I was like, you on your bullshit. I'm here professional for business. I drove 11 hours. I got cash on hand. If you want to accept my offer, I will come buy it in the morning. Even though you did what you did and you're acting like you did, I will still buy the car because I came here, but for this much instead. And he ended up agreeing and blah, blah, blah. I went the next morning, bought this car, and we drove it home. I don't know what was going on with that guy. He must be going through it, or he was off his meds, and it almost ended in a lot worse of a situation. But the car is here, home. I unfortunately own it, and I have to do a lot of research on this car to make sure I legally own this car. But now it's on the channel and it's here for you guys. So let me know, what do you guys want to see with this car? Do you want me to make it how I want to and put it to my version? Or do you think that this car would be a good car to flip? Alpine White has tax, Cinnamon Interior has tax, but this is also basically one of my top tier dream specs of an E46 M3. I've always wanted an Alpine white one. I've always wanted a cinnamon interior one, and I have exactly that. Let me know if you guys want this car on the channel, or if you guys could really care less, and you guys will be ultimately the determining factor of this car's fate. We'll go for a quick drive. It seems to be idling high, but I remember my other E46 M3 also had a higher idle, and I didn't know what the problem was. I've asked multiple times in other videos, and nobody else gave me an answer or really said anything. So I just kind of let it be. I don't know, again, if this is high idle. This should idle right here at the dot, but this car idles a little under 1,000. I don't know, it could be the tune, could be needing some maintenance, could be the idle control valve, don't know. But let's go for a quick little drive and show you what this car is about. Extremely raspy, of course. It is E46 M3. Kind of impossible to make these cars sound good. I don't really care what anybody says. I have not heard a single setup on these cars that actually sounds good. And I think it's going to continue to stay that way. These cars are basically impossible to make sound good. We're going to need a new steering wheel for sure, so I'm going to have to order one and get that replaced. It has definitely seen some better days. Definitely needs to be revved out, but it feels good. I mean, you can't really complain. It actually feels good. The clutch feels good. The shifter does not feel good. The clunks. A little bit of TLC on the brakes, but yeah, I mean, there's a couple things that definitely need to be addressed, but it's not bad. We're back home now with the Avis Blue M5 and my F80. Now we got the big brother and the little brother. M5 is also the big brother, I guess. It definitely exceeds the E46 M3 in my standards, but we are home and this is where the car will be now and its family. So now we got two M3s in the M5. I didn't want two white cars, but unfortunately my F80 is mineral white and not Alpine white, and I needed a Alpine white M3. I definitely need Emola Red, so whether that's an Emola Red M5 or an Emola Red E46 M3, definitely need one in the future. But either way, the M5 will be up next on some updates. I had already filmed some of that and took this car for its first real drive, so be expecting that video very soon, and hopefully we can get some more updates with this. I got some other little things coming in the future for this car. But that's gonna wrap up this video. It's been a lot of rambling and a lot of different things going on, and we're gonna go ahead and call it here. So I appreciate everyone, especially if you watched all the way through this. Thank you for coming on this journey with me, and thank you for letting me fill you in on my new purchase. So expect many more updates on both cars. Let me know if you guys do want this car on the channel, or if you think this car should just be a quick flip and something that's in and out. It's up to you guys ultimately what you guys want to see. I usually listen to you guys either way, so let me know what you guys want and what you guys prefer. I'm gonna get out of here, guys, so like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this car, and we'll come back to you very soon with some more updates. So thank you guys. I appreciate everyone who watched, and I will be back later, guys.